Welcome, Aries. This is a reading for the full moon in Sagittarius, the second new moon in May, making it a blue moon. It's a micro blue moon because it's, in addition to being the second full moon in May, it's also furthest distance from our planet. So it appears smaller in the sky than what we usually experience. And so this is going to occur on about the 31st of May. And the key word here, naturally, being in Sagittarius, is about freedom. And this freedom is not simply the physical freedom to pursue the horizon, the next adventure, but it's also the freedom of understanding that it is at the horizon where we glimpse our truth, where we truly begin living in our truth. So I pulled from the energy archaeology. The key word is inspiration. And I'm going to read from the guidebook, naturally. So the magical melding of yourself, your higher self, and inspired guidance is the impetus of conscious creation. To do anything with inspiration, to move it from the etheric to the physical, it must be embodied. Understanding divine inspiration is not as something separate from the self, but as something integral to it. To move with inspiration means you cannot hold it too tightly. You stagnate, repress your dreaming self, and place expectations around what you are creating. When you hold the impetus of conscious creation tightly, it cannot do what it's meant to do. Here to guide, inspiration card is here to guide your co-creative life. Inspiration desires to move from your head to your heart and attune how you receive and give. Let inspiration move through you so it can move your life in the direction of your dreams. And this is coupled with the failure card. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. And for many of you that are pursuing some super conscious higher self inspiration or looking at a goal as something you are aspiring towards, this sense of failure is baked into any success of you may experience. So if you're not failing, if you haven't failed, you're likely not succeeding. This is imperative that our failures are all about opportunities to learn and to expand on our truths. And at the moment of this micro blue moon, our visibility of the truth, of what's been hidden from us during the previous full moon that occurred on the first of the month, is this reality around pursuing this truth as our freedom and understanding that the truth is unfolding before us as a result of our patience with ourselves, our understanding that there is a limitation to what we know, and we necessarily are inspired to grow, to expand. In the present, the Empress card, this beautiful card shows you in balance, shows you in your power, Aries. This is beautiful because it looks as though you are literally trading in the world of ideas. That can be through media communication, which feels as though that is quickly consuming our daily experience on a mundane level. But you not only recognize and identify your ability to care for, attend to, nurture the success of those around you as a part of your productivity, but you also understand that you are worthy of receiving that same attention, that same care, that same appreciation and admiration for the work that you do. So this is a beautiful balance, really reigned over by the energy of Venus, which is all about balance, all about flow and understanding the attunement that you experience in various environments and in some relationships. In the past, the Five of Wands is clarifying that the past may have looked like um, a situation in which there was some kind of a debate, an argument, a lack of clarity, a problem that needed to be worked through. And in your past, you have worked through this problem, you have debated it, you have discussed it in a competitive but in a supportive environment in order to come up with solutions to a particular dilemma. For many of you, this is about moving in connection with the Sagittarian full moon and the fact that this full moon is highlighting the house of Sagittarius for you. You are looking at some of your larger identifications with certain principles, values, cultural experiences, and ways in which those can be reintegrated or reincorporated into your life. In the future, the Death card. The Death card is anything from the actual experience of moving. Maybe you've determined an action that clarifies a more improved environment for you to carry out some kind of work. It can relate to a change in loss in a job, a completion of something, so that you're ready to experience a rebirth, a new version of something that you have released, or a loss that you have processed in some way, so that the value of that loss is uh, available to you for learning, for guidance. In the case of an individual, this sense of connection with your deeper heritage, and that can mean connecting up with your ancestors, who it looks like you may be doing some specific kind of research or looking into finding out about a family culture, lineage, ancestry. So this is key to the sense that you are solving problems, solving a dilemma by perhaps choosing a new way of making money or a new place to live that would be more conducive to your productivity, that feels as though it's central to what you're doing right now. Aries, if this is resonating with you, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. Your support is appreciated and deeply felt, so thank you for that. I'm going to get a couple of cards for the Five of Wands. In the past, we have the Eight of Cups and the Lovers, and for the Empress, 2 cards, please. And we have the Seven of Swords, a Seven of Wands, I'm sorry, and the Two of Cups. And for the Death card, we have the Tower, and one more for the Death card in the future. We have the World card, I'm sorry, the Sun. All right, so beautiful energy here. In the past, you have moved away from a debate, a disagreement, some kind of it feels like it is a collective or shared problem that you have identified, moved away from understanding that you have an opportunity to make a contribution independent of a group that you were working with, you were solving things with, you were looking for alternatives to a dilemma. The Lovers also indicates that this was a choice that you began to see as about the difference between some short-term solution and a longer-term benefit to you. So I see you understanding that despite the collective that you have been working with in the past, that a break of some sort was made. It doesn't mean that you are no longer friends or connected to this collective, but you realize that what had meaning for you was to go off and do something that would help to define your life, your experience, your productivity, your creative opportunities. This is quite likely an opportunity or a decision you never imagined having to make. So this is suggesting that your social environment has changed so dramatically that you recognize opportunities where there were none in the past. It also means that you've outgrown some of your collective members, your loved one circle of friends, family, can be colleagues that you have gained from these relationships the courage really to release them, to surrender to them, and to move to something that is critically important to you and quite possibly to you alone. In the present, the Empress, clarified by the Seven of Wands and the Two of Cups. I do feel as though you are centering your most intimate relationship at this time. I think this has to do with the choice that you've made about breaking with a larger group in the past. And breaking can include simply not centering the concerns of a group uh, before your own concerns regarding not only the relationship with yourself, but to a significant other, a deep connection that you feel is a greater opportunity for you to approach this significant achievement, moving towards something that has meaning to you. And the Seven of Wands is indicating a certain defensiveness about this decision you've made. This may be against the kind of philosophical approach or social approach that you've taken to a group of friends or colleagues in the past, where you completely identified with members of that group or with the general status of the group was shared. And instead, now you're really looking at what you and yours can achieve with more dedicated space, less distraction, more focus on what it is that you can build in your creative life. And in the future, we have the Death card clarified by two majors, the Tower and the Sun. And this is interesting to me because it feels as though you have engineered a tower as a way of breaking down something that you realize is no longer necessary for you. There's some kind of containment you experienced in this tower. This can, again, be a job. It can be relationships. It can be a community that felt that you feel is not approaching what makes you happy, what is central to your functioning in life, what is central to your enjoyment of life. So I feel that there's underneath this a kind of parting of the ways with significant others in your life, not necessarily the friendships ending, but you're no longer focusing on the viability of those relationships, supporting those, moving them forward. If this is a job, similarly, you recognize the limitations in a kind of work that you've been doing that no longer promotes the experience of joy or pleasure in your work. This can be some aspect of your work that you are choosing to eliminate from your life. This can be you moving from an institutional job to your own business as an example of a way of compartmentalizing what you enjoy about your work on your own terms and making the conditions such that you are free to enjoy that. I'm going to finish this reading with Language of the Flowers, and I have the Bird of Paradise, self-acceptance. You are so much more. I like this very much. Self-acceptance really, in this case, I feel, Aries, you are detaching yourself from a lot of the rhetoric of your identity. However you identify, there is a certain set of principles, habits, routines, behaviors that you associate with that group of people, that collective. And you are in accepting yourself more fully, making hard decisions about how that aligns or misaligns you with a circle of loved ones, a community. And in that way, you are understanding that only you can approach the things that have meaning to you. Only you can experience the joy and pleasure of the work that you enjoy. And anything that takes you away from that is not serving your purpose. Many of you will be traveling to find this community, this collective, this circle of support for the ideas that you are only now allowing yourself to pursue, to see, to follow as your own truth. So I hope this is helpful to you, Aries. I appreciate your being here. Until next time, namaste.